Welcome to another episode of In Hindsight. Today I want to honor the name of this video series by dissecting the Spring Champions recovery and evolution in the summer split. After an abysmal start that made it look like 𝗏𝗏's spring success was just a flash in the pan, the team has recovered steadily and is now entering the second round robin of the VCS summer split with a 6-series win streak. After falling 0-2 back-to-back to 𝗏 and Cerberus in week 1 of the split, 𝗏𝗏 has only lost 4 games, boosting an astonishing 75% win rate. What enabled our champions to come back after such a bad start, not only in terms of results, but also in quality of gameplay? 𝗏𝗏 looked disjointed, disorganized and completely out of sync at the beginning of the split. Even after the win streak started, many of the games looked messy and could have gone either way. 𝗏𝗏 barely eked out a victory over EVOS and 𝗀𝗃 while looking like the weaker team on the day. Only recently have 𝗏𝗏's games become enjoyable to watch. What happened? The first big transformation happened in the drafting phase. At the start of the split, 𝗏𝗏 introduced a new solo queue prodigy into the team, 𝗂𝗂. Known for his mechanics and success in solo queue, expectations were high, but his solo queue tendencies were more than visible, especially in the drafts 𝗏𝗏 presented in the first few weeks. Let's take a look at 𝗏𝗏's drafts against 𝗏, first in round 1, and then the winning drafts from last week in round 2. The initial drafts followed a formula many teams in the VCS and around the globe have used this summer. Carry jungler with a facilitating mid laner, most likely to be Karma. Karma is able to buff the ADC jungler and provide him with extra scaling through his shields and of course Ardent Sensor extra damage. When played well, this set of champions enables teams to control the enemy jungle and the enemy jungler, preventing him from impacting lanes and thus snowballing ahead with a more efficient clearing and strong early game skirmishing champion they selected for their jungle. The trade-off is relatively little assistance for the side lanes, as well as a lack of CC and setup from the jungle position in teamfights. In both games, Graves ended up with more than 20% of his team's gold share, while contributing significantly less in damage, averaging 14.5% in damage share. In the drafts last week against 𝗏, 𝗏𝗏 showed us a very different style, one that has become 𝗏𝗏's bread and butter in the last 2 series. Jungle and mid lane have swapped their roles, with 𝗂𝗂 on low econ CC heavy tank junglers and 𝗏𝗏 on scaling teamfighting mages. 11 of 𝗏𝗏's 18 games played are on Orianna and Ryze, of which he has only lost 1 game. On the other champs his record is 2-5. 𝗏𝗏's main goal in recent drafts is to put together a cohesive composition for front-to-back teamfighting. With Slater and 𝗏𝗏 on teamfighting monsters, 𝗏𝗏 can use their strong players to win every single teamfight in the late game. They have truly returned to their spring playoffs playstyle and can make a strong case to be called the best front-to-back teamfighting team in the league. Now that we have taken a good look at the pre-game, I want to focus on 2 aspects of in-game play. 𝗏𝗏 changed drastically from the start of the split to now: map rotations and teamfights. Though 𝗏𝗏 is still not the greatest early game team, averaging a slight gold deficit at 15 minutes, the way in which they move between lanes and objectives has improved massively. At the start of the split, 𝗏𝗏's only play was to group in mid as 5 and hope for the best. Now, the team still likes to play around the mid lane, but with a clear goal in mind. They open up the mid game by almost always breaking tier 1 mid turret first, which then opens up the map and lets them extend their vision lines, as well as making it harder to push midway for the enemy. As you can see in this clip, 𝗏𝗏 usually use reset timings or faster movement on the map to create a numbers advantage in the mid lane at some point between 15 and 20 minutes. This even happens when 𝗏𝗏 is significantly down in gold, like they were here against Team Secret. From the clueless solo queue-esque team, just desperately looking for fights to escape the need of having to think about the map, 𝗏𝗏 has transformed into the smartest team in the VCS when it comes to mid-game map plays and movement. Next up, I want to highlight 𝗏𝗏's incredible teamfight transformation. In most of the teamfights at the start of the split, 𝗏𝗏's players were not on the same page. Oftentimes, Slater had been farming up a storm and even reached crucial item power spikes before the fight. A truly fearsome prospect for the enemies that watched Spring Split unfold. But he struggled to have an impact as he tended to arrive late for the fight or wasn't set up for success. With a drastic change in draft, 𝗏𝗏 has finally enabled who is supposed to be the best wildcard ADC. The team now moves in a closed formation, always keeping battle lines in mind. With Slater on long-range ADCs and 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏 mostly on Orianna, it is incredibly difficult for the enemy team to ever get to the backline. As you can see here, 𝗏𝗏 likes to build very pronounced battle lines with the longer range carries in the middle and further back, protected and set up by the front line. The most important piece in a lot of these fights is Ego on his tank junglers, engaging and counter-engaging and buying time for his carries to bring the DPS. Additionally, 𝗏𝗏 is playing towards a certain goal in almost every game now. Following a lot of international teams, they have their eyes set on the biggest prize on the Rift, the Dragons. For a team that started as a total mess and got destroyed in their first few games, their Dragon stats are tremendously impressive. Second in Dragon rate and first Dragon percentage only behind Cerberus, 𝗏𝗏 has clearly adapted their playstyle to revolve around the big colorful beast in the bot side of the map. Astonishingly, the guys in orange are yet to secure a single Elder Dragon, meaning that they win off Dragon Soul and Baron teamfights. The Spring Split champions are finally back in form and eyeing the back-to-back championship, as well as the long-awaited World's Birth. Can the #1 team in the league stop this juggernaut from taking over the split? Get ready for explosive and plentiful team fights. Thank you for watching episode 4 of In Hindsight, and see you from Friday to Sunday.